to be sure, there's a spoiler. After a new twist in the Wheel of Time Season 3, there's good reason to believe that Sammael will join forces with Rand al'Thor, taking the unlikely role of his instructor in the One Power. Despite being the most powerful channeler alive, Rand still has a great deal of untapped potential in the series. As Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time books have long demonstrated, the Dragon Reborn is capable of all sorts of feats, but some of these involve weaves that Rand doesn't know how to do at this point in the timeline of the show. This fact has been even recognized by the character. Learning how to use the One Power properly is not something he can accomplish easily, considering that women can't teach men how to channel, thus ruling out Moiraine as a possible mentor. He received some guidance from Logain Ablar prior to the Wheel of Time Season 2's ending. What happens in The Shadow Rising, the book Season 3 is primarily adapting, dictates that Rand will soon receive the help he needs. But the show may be making a massive change to how that plays out.
You've gotten soft, loose then.
Welcome to Movie Spy. Asmodian's role in The Shadow Rising and the Fires of Heaven explained. Asmodian helped Rand learn more One Power weaves in the Fires of Heaven. In The Shadow Rising, Rand was on a quest to find one of the access keys for the Choden Kal, one of the strongest sangreal in the Wheel of Time's world. His efforts pit him against Asmodian, one of the 13 Forsaken. Asmodian had infiltrated the Tuathan, the group of traveling pacifists who follow the Way of the Leaf. The Shadow Rising wrapped up with a fight between Rand and Asmodian in the city of Rhuidean, which Rand ultimately won. Interestingly, Rand passed on his chance to kill Asmodian, and instead found a use for him. Lanfear shielded him, and at her direction, Rand decided to keep Asmodian alive so that he could have someone help develop better control over Saidin, the male half of the One Power. Asmodian, having little choice in the matter, agreed to become Rand's instructor and remained at his side over the course of the following book, The Fires of Heaven. During the story, Asmodian emerged as a surprisingly useful ally to Rand, even healing wounded soldiers at one point. Of course, that's not to say that Asmodian redeemed himself or changed his ways. The Fires of Heaven was ambiguous about this, as it was unclear where Asmodian's true loyalties lay. He was genuinely helpful to Rand's cause, but it was also understood that in becoming Rand's teacher, he had inadvertently alienated the other members of the Forsaken. Asmodian had been put in a position where he had no choice but to be on Rand's side. There was no going back. Why Sammael may be replacing Asmodian in the Wheel of Time Season 3. Sammael could teach Rand how to channel, if he's still alive. While it's possible that Asmodian is hiding in the Wheel of Time Season 3's cast somewhere, perhaps under a different name, it's important to note that the show hasn't offered any direct setup for his showdown with Rand in Rhuidean. That leads me to wonder if a different character, namely Sammael, will be taking his place. Earlier in the Wheel of Time Season 3, Episode 6, Lanfear warned Moiraine that she was sending something Rand's way and that she shouldn't interfere. In The Shadow Rising, it was Lanfear's idea that Rand take Asmodian on as his teacher. That fact gives weight to the notion that Lanfear may have similar designs on Sammael in the TV version of the story. She ran to live, so she obviously wasn't trying to kill him. She's clearly preparing him, so it would make sense for her to send him someone to help Rand unlock his full potential as the Dragon Reborn. As a male channeler, Sammael could fulfill that purpose, in place of Asmodian. Going in this direction would explain why Sammael's ambush happened at all. The fight appeared to be a partial adaptation of the attack that Sammael orchestrated against Rand at the Stone of Tyr, except Sammael didn't actually go in person. It would be surprising for the Wheel of Time to send Sammael to the Aeil Waste just for him to die. Sammael surviving the battle and becoming Rand's teacher would make perfect sense of Asmodian's absence thus far. With Asmodian being the final opponent of Rand al'Thor in The Shadow Rising, there was naturally some expectation for him to be a major factor in the story, or at least one of the characters to show up at the Forsaken meeting in Season 3's third episode. What's more, the series hasn't named him as one of its 8 Forsaken. The Wheel of Time admittedly does have one unrevealed Forsaken member left, but with other important characters in the group also not being mentioned yet, such as Demandred and Messana, The odds of Asmodian appearing in the series have certainly dropped. What Sammael taking Asmodian's role would mean for Rand's story. Rand would struggle to keep Sammael in line. Sammael replacing Asmodian could have a significant impact on the show going forward. Firstly, it would result in a different student-teacher dynamic than what Rand had with Asmodian in the books, as Sammael clearly shares a deep-seated hatred of the previous dragon, Lews Therin. With that in mind, getting Sammael to instruct Rand could be significantly more difficult, and keeping that partnership intact would most likely be a consistent challenge. There's also the matter of what him standing in for Asmodian would mean for the role Sammael is supposed to play. Book 7, A Crown of Swords, focused on Rand's journey to Ilion for a face-off with Sammael. The Wheel of Time's willingness to put Sammael at Rand's side would be an indication that it has no plans to adapt Rand's conquest of Ilion in A Crown of Swords, and may skip that particular book in favor of another installment in the series. Thanks for watching.